Hello. Hi. Good morning. So, dating is hard. It's hard no matter how old you are or what gender you are. It's tough. And if you were to ask me, Jasmine, how is dating for you today? Well, I'll tell you this. This is my dating life in a nutshell. Most of the time, I do have fun. But the other most of the time part, I feel like hiding. Because it's tough. To illustrate how hard dating can be, I have a story to tell you, and it's about my dating life, where I got stood up for the first time. Would you like to hear? Yes? Okay, fantastic. So, this happened 10 years ago, when I was based in Sabah, where I am originally from. The person I matched with was based in the UK. And that time, we met on Bumble, and there was this thing that he turned on, which is the travel mode. And the travel mode is a feature on Bumble where you can select any part of the world and you can match with that person there. And the idea is that once you go to that particular country or that particular location, you would already get to know that person, and they're not a stranger anymore. And so that's how we met. And so that's how we met. And so after talking for 2 weeks, and I think we had such an amazing conversation as well, he was finally in Sabah, and we were very excited for that. And when he was actually in Sabah, we decided to set up a time and a date to meet. And I decided to bring him to my favorite restaurant in town. And my favorite restaurant in town, this is one of my main ones. And on the day that we were supposed to meet, he sent me a message on Bumble. Now, mind you, at this point, we were still talking on Bumble. Yes, we have each other's numbers, but back in the day, 10 years ago, WhatsApp wasn't a very popular app in the UK. Even today, WhatsApp is not very popular in a lot of countries, for example, the US. So we continued talking on Bumble. And that day, I remember I was getting ready, and he sent me a message on Bumble to tell me, hey, I'm getting ready now. I'll see you in a bit. And I said, fantastic, I'll see you soon. And off I go to the restaurant, right? Off I go to the restaurant, and I was excited. I wanted to send him a message. I wanted to let him know that I was there. And so I sent him a message. I wanted to send him a message. But when I opened Bumble, the message was gone. Now, if you've used Bumble before, if you can't find the person's message, it means that the person has unmatched you. And there is no way for you to get in touch with that person. And so I was very confused. I decided maybe there was a glitch. There was a glitch in the system, and maybe there was a problem. So I decided to uninstall and reinstall Bumble. And yet, there's still no message. So I was very confused. I thought maybe he accidentally unmatched me. Because it has happened before, right? I have done that before. I have accidentally unmatched people. So I thought to myself, never mind. Let me just go to the restaurant. Let me sit there, and maybe he would see me. So off I go to the restaurant and waited for him. 10 minutes passed, he was still not there. And my first thought was that maybe he got lost. Maybe he got lost. Or maybe he got into a car accident. I don't know, the love of my life got into a car accident, who knows? So 10 minutes passed, 20 minutes passed, 30 minutes passed, and at this point, my sister was telling me, you have to leave, maybe this person is not showing up. And I was a bit unsure, but at the same time, I was also very, very hungry. I was at my favorite restaurant, I was very hungry, and I decided, you know what, I am going to stay here. I'm not going to go away, I'm going to stay here in my favorite restaurant that was playing really nice music, and that's what I did. I ordered my food, I ordered my steak, and after that, I ordered some drinks, and I really enjoyed myself. And if you know me, you know that I have no issues being by myself. I enjoy myself. And so after, eating for a little bit, I bumped into an old friend who came to also have a solo dinner night. And so I asked him to come and join me, and we had a great time just just really talking to each other. And then I told him what happened, and he was very unhappy. He was saying like, how can? And I said, it's okay, let's just have fun. So by the end of the dinner, he was so kind. He paid for my meal. So I was very, very happy. So it turned out to be a really good day after all. And fast forward to 1 week later, guess who decided to send me a message? It was my date that never showed up. So he sent me a message and apologized that he couldn't come because he said he got cold feet. And at that time, I have to tell you, I was feeling very upset. I was feeling very angry. I was also, my self-esteem was telling me that I was unworthy of this person, that even before he met me, he already decided he didn't want to meet me. And that wasn't a good feeling. But you know what I realized is that what he did, it is more of a reflection of who he is as a person and not of me. His actions are not a reflection of who I am. It's a reflection of who he is. Because when you think about it, had he been a decent person, or that if he cared about my feelings and my time, he would have let me know. And yes, it would be a tough conversation to have, but it would be something that would make me respect him even more. So that really changed the way I look at dating. Nowadays, I date not only because I wanted to get to know someone new, but I also date because I wanted to learn more about myself. I was dating myself because at that point, I felt a sense of shift in me. That the fact that I could turn a really potentially bad situation of being stood up to then bringing myself out on a date instead, that was a power move. Now today, after more than 10 years of being on the app and about close to 1,000 matches and over 200 dates later, I have collected 3 important life lessons in my dating life. And the 3 lessons are, the first one is, lesson number 1, stop worrying whether or not someone likes you. Worry whether you like them. Now, how many of us here have been really stressed about preparing for a date that we take so much time trying to think about what we want to wear, what perfume we should wear, where do we want to go? We get really worried, right? Some of us. I know I did. And then also, on top of that, I also would go a step further where I would read fun facts or I would read jokes because I wanted to impress my dates. I wanted them to think that I was smart, to think that I was funny. And what often happens is that, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong wanting to dress to impress. It's totally fine. But what makes it problematic is when you center yourself around someone that you don't even know if they're worth it. So much so that you change the way you act, you change the way you dress, and you change the way you become, just so that you can impress this person. Now, this happened to me. I did that. And it doesn't help that I am a plus-size girl. So I felt like I needed to work twice as hard to impress someone or to let them see me for me and not for my weight. But you know what often happens is that whenever I go on these dates, you know what happens? I realize that some of my dates are not really that interesting, or they're not interested in getting to know me. And that's a shame because I actually think I'm a really interesting person. So I remember there was this one time where I would go on a date and I would ask this person so many questions. And then I would ask him too, hey, do you have any questions for me? And you know what he said? He said, no, I don't. Actually, I really like your question. You can ask me more questions. And I was like, oh, really? Nothing about me at all? So that changed, again, the way I look at dating and the way I look at myself. So now I go on dates. I really am very selective with who I go on dates with. I need to make sure that they are worthy of my time. They're worthy of me. Because your time and your energy are very, very important and they're very valuable. You need to protect them. That's lesson number 1. Lesson number 2 is always trust in your gut. Set boundaries and keep to it. saying no and having boundaries, they're not meant to keep people out. They're meant to keep you in. Have you ever been in a situation where you constantly say yes to your friend when you know you should have said no? Right? You are in the mama late night session. You know you're supposed to go back to finish your assignment because you have a due date the next day. You know this, but your friend keeps telling you, "Ala, can la, just stay here la, just stay." And then you're like, "Okay, you know what? Let me just stay." And you do this over and over again. And at the end of it, you get really, whenever you see this person, this friend of yours, whenever you see their face or their messages, you get very anxious and you get very annoyed. But when you think about it, who exactly are you anxious and annoyed with? More often than not, it's not them. It's actually you. Because you're like, why did I put myself in this situation, right? And yes, at that point too, you just wanted to, you have to remember that having boundaries is not a bad thing. It's meant to keep you safe. Apologies. It's meant to keep you safe. Thank you. So having boundaries is meant to keep you safe. I have been in situations where I had said yes to certain people or to do certain things when I should have said no. And I knew this, and I did it anyway because I wanted to be this cool girl. I didn't want to be complicated. And what often happens is that I will leave feeling very angry with myself, and that's not a good feeling. Today, my no's are loud. My no's are powerful. Anything and everything that makes me feel uncomfortable, I will say no to it, or I will renegotiate what I can and cannot do. The next lesson and the last lesson is, rejection is a redirection. Make some noise if you've ever been rejected before, whether it be by your friend, by an opportunity, by a crush, right? We all at some point have been rejected before, and I'm glad that you know this because I know this feeling, and rejection doesn't feel nice. Rejection takes a hit at your self-esteem. It's not a good feeling. It makes you question your value. There were situations where I have been on multiple dates with this particular person, and I thought everything was going well. But then I realized this person, you know what they did? They ghosted me for no reason. I don't know why. Why did they ghost me? And then I can tell you right now, I spiraled trying to understand what did I do. I would go through our messages, and I would try to understand, did I say something wrong? What did I say? And I would even send them a message. I would even call them, trying to understand what did I do wrong. And most of the time, they will act as if they don't know, or they will just ignore me. And yes, ghosting here, if you've never heard of it, ghosting is an act where someone stops talking to you or stops replying to your messages or your calls. It's as if they were a ghost. You don't know what happened. It's as if they never existed. And so I would go really obsessed, and I was trying to understand what did I do wrong. And at the end of it, you know what I realized? Is that looking back now, I felt kind of sad for past Jasmine because I felt like I was begging to be seen. I was begging to be heard. And that's not a good feeling to have. Nowadays, when I think about rejection, I see it as a blessing in disguise. Because I would rather be in someone's life where they see me as a privilege, as an honor to be in their lives. And I also understand, that we all can choose, we all have our own choices in terms of partners, whoever that we want. And if that partner that they so choose is not me, it's totally fine. Because like I said, I would like to choose either friends or partners that see me as a blessing. And the same can be also said to opportunities. So opportunities that you get rejected from, don't be sad. Yes, I understand we're sad, but also at the same time, the way I see it is that we're meant for something bigger and better. And that's okay. And as cliche as it sounds, When one door closes, another one opens. And through rejection, I learned how to love myself. I learned how to appreciate myself, that even if my dates did not become romantic partners, it's totally fine, because they, in the end, became my friend. So these are the 3 important life lessons that I have during my journey of dating. And what I realized also is the more I date or not date, the more I come to appreciate who I am, the more I learn what kind of partner I want to be, or the kind of partner that I deserve. And if there is a love letter that I can give to you from my talk, it is this. Dear friends, wherever you are in your life right now, in your journey, whether you are finding for a friend, whether you're finding that one true person for you, or you're finding that community for yourself, always remember to choose yourself first. Because at the end of the day, when the makeup comes off, or when the flashy baju is no more, the only person that's there with you is you. So date yourself, be kind to yourself, protect yourself, and surround yourself with people who are worthy of you. And that's very, very important. Because at the end of the day, I want each of you to remember that you are, in your whole being, you are worth it. Thank you.